Today we're going to be focusing on categories and locations. Maybe you're new to the map platform, maybe you need to make a few updates. We'll make sure that you have a good base knowledge of foundation here to get in there and make some changes. A quick intro, my name is Carolyn. I'm the head of the client success team here at Concept3D. I'm based out of our office in Denver, Colorado, or right now my office in my kitchen. Feel free to take a screenshot of this slide if you'd like. Would love to hear from you. Don't be a stranger. Reach out via email with any questions or comments. Would love to connect. So in today's 30-minute webinar, we're going to go through a few quick slides looking at an overview of both categories and locations. Then we'll spend some time doing a live demo and actually looking at how to create new content, maybe update existing content in your map. And then we'll also take a look at a few advanced features that maybe you're not making use of today that are really easy to implement for a great user experience. Lastly, we've left some time at the end for questions. Most of you are probably familiar with Zoom at this point in time, but if you're not, make sure you can see where that menu bar is. We'll be using the Q&A feature for our questions at the end. So feel free to type in questions in there as we go through the webinar, and we will get them addressed as we move along here. So let's do a quick overview of what categories and locations are. Categories and locations are going to be the structure and hierarchy of your map content. They're really the foundation of all of that great location information that you have. In addition to your main categories, you can also have subcategories within there. That allows you to just dive down a little bit deeper and organize your content in a way that's easy for your users to explore on their own. Lastly, locations will fit within these categories, and they're going to be the specific points or places on the map itself. So think of a location as having a place in the map, a latitude or longitude point with more details on that specific point. A few advanced category settings that we'll go through today once we get to the demo portion that we wanted to point out. List position, you have a lot of control in the CMS as far as how you organize your content. List position will dictate the order in which those categories show up. So in today's example, maybe we want to create a new category that's high on the list, so it really captures your audience's attention right away. You can actually control that list order and maybe set something, as a negative number to have it show up higher on that list. Your location display option, your map as a whole has a global setting for this. Maybe that is set currently to the sidebar, which you can see in that screenshot on the top right, or a balloon, which you see in the screenshot on the bottom right. There is a global setting for this. However, you can override it at a category on the map as well. So for example, maybe you have a category that doesn't have a lot of content like bike racks. You might not want to take up a ton of room on the map opening that sidebar of detail if there's not images and text. So this is something you can actually override at the category level. And in that case, maybe set something to no info. So we'll take a look at that setting as well. It's really easy, available to you today, so you can modify based on the category itself. And then lastly, a setting that we see used frequently is the ability to set a category to private. This allows you to create content on the map that won't be shared publicly. However, you can share this with a specific URL. This is a great way to get other stakeholders' eyes on content, maybe before you make it live, or perhaps you have an event-specific category that you don't want on your main map, but you do want to share it via an email, via a link in an email, or maybe on social media. Private is a great setting to use to do so. A few advanced location settings that we'll go through today. The top one is alt tags for images. We're very ADA conscious here at Concept3D, so you'll see a lot of ADA related settings throughout the map. This is something that you control, so we wanted to point it out today. It's a really important requirement of web accessibility. Once we're in that location edit window, I'll point it out once we get to the live demo, but you'll see a little pencil icon that you can see in the screenshot on the right there for every single image that you upload. You can select that icon and then your alt tag window will open for you to add text. Each location can also have keywords associated. Now the search on your map is specific to all the content that you add, and keywords will help control the search results for your end users. This is especially important if a building changes names or maybe is commonly misspelled. You can throw in some keywords to make sure that your users are seeing the results when they're searching for that content. A tip here is to use Google Analytics. If you haven't plugged into Google Analytics yet, we do tag when and what users are searching for. So you can always look at the top searches in the last few months and make sure that those searches are returning results on your map. And then lastly, the private setting also applies to specific locations. So you can set it at a category level if you'd like, but you also can drill down deeper and make a location itself private. So we're going to go ahead and look at some of these advanced settings and also cover how to create new categories and locations and update existing. So here you can see I'm logged into the content management system. Everyone on the webinar, you should have access to this if you are an administrator of your map. If you're not, feel free to reach out to whoever controls the content and they can get you set up with a login. On the left-hand side here, we see that similar structure that we noticed in that screenshot in the slides with our categories, subcategories, and individual locations. Now in this case, we're going to keep things timely with everything that's going on in the world. We have a COVID building status category with a handful of buildings that are currently closed. Now that things are starting to reopen a bit, maybe we need to create a new subcategory under here to show which buildings and items are open. I'm going to select this new category button, and we are going to keep things simple and call it open. Now there's a lot of settings on this window that you see here. These are all advanced things that you can use to further control how this content is displaying on your map. We'll cover the first 4 up top, but note that if you hover over the little tooltip on all of these settings, those will explain these items a little bit further. You can also feel free to reach out to your client success manager if you have any questions. We've got a help site that covers a lot of these settings in more detail. And you can also reach out to us at support@concept3d.com. So I'm going to go ahead and title my new subcategory open. I'm going to select a marker icon for this category. I'm also going to select a list icon. This is what will show up on the map itself when you saw those red X's for closed buildings. We have a library of these available to you. You can also create your own if you'd like. Then I'm going to select where this category should live. By default, it will be in the main index, but in this case, I actually want to nestle it under this building status, therefore creating it as a subcategory. Then I'm going to hit save. If I expand our building status, you can see there's our new subcategory. In addition, at the top here under our Publish tab, that has illuminated with the number 1. It's important to note anytime you're making a change in the content management system, those changes will need to be published in order for them to be viewed. I'm going to go ahead and publish this category. That way we can create locations for it. And come back to our locations tab. Now, say as things are starting to open up, some of these buildings that maybe were closed before have transitioned to open. Next, we're going to move into editing an existing location. I'm going to expand closed, edit the College Street Student Center location. And in this case, this location is in two categories, academic and closed. To make modifications to this, I'm going to go ahead and select academic and closed to expand that category list. I'll click on closed to deselect that option and instead select open. Then I'm going to hit save. And this location will move from being under the closed category to now living under the open category. I'll do this for a few other categories or locations here. Move this to open. For the Edge Cafe, we can scroll down here and see in this case, our description said the Edge Cafe is closed until further notice. We probably want to update this content at the same time and say something like, the Edge Cafe is operating on limited hours and takeout only. And we'll go ahead and save that location. Looking good so far. Now the next thing we'll do is show you how to create a new location. So maybe something does not exist on the map already and you need to pinpoint this specific area. In this case, we're going to select this new location button. Similar to categories, there are a number of settings in here. We'll cover a few of them today, but if there's any you're curious on or have additional questions, definitely look at our help site or reach out to your client success manager. In this case, I'm going to create a new location for food bank pickup. Now with locations, you do have the option to override the icon. This is optional and you should only use the setting if you actually want to use a different icon for this individual location. I'm going to go ahead and upload this little farmer's market icon that we have here. And I'm going to place this within our open category. Now below, I can upload images. Once that image is uploaded, earlier I pointed out alt tags. This is again very important to add as you're creating new content or updating existing. If you hover over the image, you'll see this little pencil icon here. We can open up the alt tag for that image and give this a description. We can also add a written text description to this location. I'm going to copy paste from a note in here. For drive up distributions, you can use the rich text editor right within this location edit window. You can also edit in HTML if you prefer to modify the styling that way. If I scroll down on the location edit window, you'll also see this setting for keywords. This is where you might control search a little bit further on your map. So maybe we want to add keywords for donation, food, food bank. This is going to help weight the search results further. Now, if I scroll to the bottom of the location creation, the last setting I'll point out today is this setting for private. Maybe before you make this available to the public, you need to get some other people's approval on it. You want it to go through more of a review phase. We could temporarily turn this to private. It won't show up on your live map until you make that non-private, but this would allow you to share with others that do not have admin access. Now, the last thing that you have to do with every location is actually pinpoint where on your map this exists. I'm going to zoom in here. You have a few options in how you pinpoint this location. They're all going to be on this toolbar here on the left side of the map. The first is our marker icon. That's going to be the most common that you'll probably see on your map today. It's as simple as clicking that icon and dropping it on the map. We can drag and drop once it's here for the placement, and that's as simple as that. The other options can be for various topics of locations. For example, a polygon. Maybe we want to highlight this whole area of where the food bank pickup might be. Or perhaps we want to draw a line of the traffic pattern. The other options on here are for an exact circle, rectangle, and lastly, a polymarker will allow you to drop multiple markers for the same location. Maybe there is multiple food bank pickups on campus. We can drop multiple pins. Now, real quick, worth pointing out, if you are using one of these shape tools and draw a polygon as an example, the default is always this red color, but you do have the option to customize this to your branding or colors of your choosing. So use that icon in the bottom of this toolbar to control the colors, opacities, and outside strokes. For this example, I'm going to use a simple marker icon. I'm going to hit save on my location. You'll notice as I've been making these changes that the Publish tab is illuminating again. So as you're making changes, feel free to save and continue on to the next thing. You do not have to publish after every change that you make, but you will need to publish in order for this content to be seen on your live map. I'm going to come up to the Publish tab, select all of my markers, and hit Publish. Now I'm going to open up the front end map to see these changes live. So here's our category for building status. And here's our locations on the map. I can drill into the building status, see open and closed. Maybe I want to turn off the closed locations and just explore the open ones. Here's our food bank pickup. And our other locations on campus.